All right, are y'all with me now? Nobody was telling me anything, though. I kept asking and nobody was saying anything. Can y'all hear me okay now? Sherry, can y'all hear me okay now? All right, I'm just going to get started and hope for the best here because I don't know what's going on with commenting or something. All right, so I've already put this inside of the group. It's been there for, I don't know, about an hour and a half or so. And so we're just going to go ahead and get started with this. And it's probably going to take several relatively smaller brushes, detail brushes, nothing bigger than maybe a size 6, except for maybe if you want to do the background. As you hop on with me, say good morning so that I can chat with you. Let me know you're here, and we'll get started. I like to move this, but if I have a wet background, I don't want it touching my paper towel. And so you see me adjust my paper from time to time. All right, let's see here. I need to get my reference out. I have a reference somewhere. I meant to print a reference and I didn't do it. I got one off of, found one off of somewhere and I can't remember where I found it. And I surely did not print it. So I'm going to use my traceable to do that. Okay. Or this was my original sketch and I just went ahead and traced it on. We'll use that. That'll be some help. But I want to kind of get the colors right. And this happens to be an antique Texaco gas pump. And Texaco is special to me and my family because my dad was a driver for them for years and years, and it's how he made his living. So lots of Texaco memorabilia. Mostly my brothers got that when my dad passed away. I think I'm going to go with this more orangey red. Good morning, Leslie. And we're also going to do kind of like some gray tones on this because as this ages, it will tend to wear the paint down. So we're going to do some gray around some edges. I'm going to put some gray here. They actually had some gray pumps, but sometimes you might see like a primer or something coming through. That got really heavy right there. So hopefully I can lift some of that. If y'all are trying to comment, I'm not sure what's going on with commenting. I was asking if people could hear me and I couldn't see anything. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Right, I'm going to come down here. There's a hose here. Sometimes Facebook just doesn't like to play nicely with things like that. We'll go ahead and get this hose in. My dad retired from it wasn't Texaco anymore when he started, but it wasn't when he left. It was Star Enterprises, and he made a good career there. So we have lots of memorabilia, like I said, that my brothers have now in their homes, and I have some pictures. They've shared pictures that I keep kind of like on my camera, so I could definitely get copies of them. But he still had his original retirement pictures, and he had lots of awards where he won million-mile awards, 2 million mile awards, because he traveled quite a bit on those tanker trucks. And so he was funny because he was shouldn't tell this on my father, but even as he drove quite a distance. He drove quite a distance to work. It was over an hour's drive to work, and he drove all night in a tanker truck. And he when he retired and got older, he was even a speed demon then because he used to have to drive his entire career. And so we used to tell him and tease him about his lead foot. We told him it was high octane. All right, I've got vines up here and I've got hose up here, and I'm trying to figure out what's what and where it goes. This is when this kind of comes in handy. So we got a hose right here. And I was going to try to find my masking fluid, and I don't know what. I've sat it down. I cleaned up around here, and now I don't know where that's at. It's someplace reasonable, and I've probably looked at it 3 or 4 times, but couldn't see it for looking at it. I can guarantee you that's what it was. You're back. I'm glad you found me back, Sandy. Apologize. I didn't know if y'all could hear me, if y'all were responding to me. No comments were coming over. So I'm not sure why Facebook is doing that today, but I do know that it happens with some creators. So I made a little bit of a mess here, but I can fix that later. So with Father's Day coming up, it was certainly something that was kind of on my mind to do. All right, I'm going to take now and kind of think that this globe had kind of like a line right here, that it didn't come all the way around. It just was, it came all the way around, but it wasn't like the whole globe. But I can't remember. There's a lot of different globes, and so I'm not overly stressed over it. Okay, and then I'm going to go in here and use this red with a very small brush. I'm going to go around these letters here. There's a star in the center. So that's the reason why I chose to do this one today. Don't forget your fathers on Sunday. Good morning, Teresa. Facebook is telling me who's kind of watching. Sometimes my folks are quiet and they don't say anything to me, but today especially, I'm not seeing any comments. So I'm trying to look. Let's see here. So part of my E, the X, and the A are inside of the star. So part of the E. I did my drawing pretty light. So I got to try to find it. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you can actually go over this with a pen. It's not going to be perfect either. That's why I was looking for my masking, and I just couldn't find it. And then the UPS guy came and dropped off some stuff for me. Texaco. Okay. Hello, Dottie. I'm just going to go back over this area. And I'm going to let my star dry, and then we're going to go back and there's an inner circle that goes around that star. And then we'll have to do this whole process again because there's another emblem just below it. I'm going to turn this upside down for a second, y'all, so I can get to it, smooth my lines out a little bit. And that's a little bit better. Okay. It'll look better in the end, I promise. Hope everybody had a grand weekend. We had a very busy weekend, not doing anything but really the things that we just do around here. But and it finally turned summer on us here in eastern North Carolina. Got hot. Good morning, Tanya. So glad to see everybody. If you're just hopping on, I am not seeing comments this morning. I can see you're on, and I appreciate that so much. Thank you for being here. But I cannot see comments. I guess Facebook is punishing me. I was on earlier and I was asking if y'all could hear me and I couldn't see any responses. I'm sure y'all were answering me, but I just decided to hop off and hop back on again. And then when I tried to come back, Facebook wasn't going to let me back in. So, yay. I noticed that the trying to get the live up this morning, they had changed some menuing around on that process. It's always a wonderful surprise when we hop on to do our lives because we never know what we're going to get. All right, I'm just going to go right over where this gray is. Just utilize, I just got a damp brush, utilize some of this paint. And if I have to lift some of it in a little while, I will. I don't want this to look like I've underlined it. Take some of this darker paint here and come here. By adding, like if you've got like a rounded something or something that has a curve to it, taking a color that's just slightly darker, whether you mix it with Payne's Gray or you use the next shade, next value darker, then you can, I just took that same one and I went underneath where we went before to give kind of like a shadowing under there. So, and that gray is giving us a little bit of a wonky highlight there, and that's pretty good. I like that just fine. Okay, I'm going to take some of this again. It's really kind of hard to get just the right red. I'm using a kind of a Pyrrell red, but that's not the name of it, with the St. Petersburg White Knights. But it's very similar to a Pyrrell red. I'm going to add the next shade as well, because sometimes I want some of these oranges. Oranges are a good thing to indicate age and when you need to brighten up something. Okay, I'm going to take this orange first. And it's a red orange. I'm not sure what the name of this color is. I need to get my swatch out. Very close again to Pyrrell. I'm going to go around some ivy here. Just doing some negative painting. There's some ivy leaves here. And if you're new to painting, negative painting just simply means you're going around your subject or a portion that you wish to really highlight in your painting. And it really does make a really cool effect. And so now I have an area here that looks more like it's in shadow, and an area here that looks like it's more in sunlight. I just went out of my line. Didn't mean to do that. Let's see if I can bring that line around easily. Okay. I like this color better, actually, so I'm going to use it. It's a little bit more orange than Pyrrell red, I think, but the Texaco had a pretty bright red that they used. I'm sure I'm not right on, but it is what it is. By the way, guys, if y'all have an opportunity to get yourself one of these grayscale value finders, they're wonderful. It gives you the scale of your values, your value scale. And I'll show y'all how I use this sometimes. I just ordered myself more because I'm forever putting it down and losing it. I take it with me and I'm forever losing it. But you can get them from any craft store, any Amazon, all the places. And they're very, very good to have and own. Especially when you're learning to work with darks. It's really important to not be afraid of those darks, those portions of the value scale where you're going a whole lot darker than your comfort level, where you're scared you're going to really mess things up. It helps a lot to have one of these simple little genius scales, these cards, to help you. And I use it all the time in teaching. So if you want to get yourself one, I would highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. They're just called value scales. People in watercolor, especially, they're not so much scared of it. Well, I won't say not so much. Sometimes there are people that are scared of darks in other mediums, but especially in watercolor, I've noticed that people are just really scared to even go there. I got a little leaf right here, so I'm going to reserve a little area. And I have a Texaco sign logo. My father-in-law worked for Lipton Tea. I don't know if everybody knows or is familiar with Lipton Tea, but he retired. He was a farmer. We actually still have and own a part of that farm. And he also worked at Lipton Tea. Two very, very good men in my life. He died of a very rare and aggressive leukemia. And it's been, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. So he died too young. Try to cover more territory here. I just got to be careful around my ivy leaves. I could have approached this much differently, much looser, but I think I would have lost y'all if I had done that, and that's not really my intention. It would have been a very watery, loose go of it. I forgot to take something out to cook tonight. Wish y'all could give me suggestions so I would know what to do. My housekeeper comes on Mondays, and I was busy getting things ready for her, and just a lot going on this afternoon when I get off of here. Trying to get ready for all of those things, and I forgot to take something out. Okay, some of this looks pretty uneven, but it's okay because this is just our ground layer, and we're gonna make sure that we have shadowing and all the things. All right, let's see. What do I have here? I don't want to go outside the line, but I also need to see the line. Okay, back to my smaller brush here. Pick up this little bit of a darker color. There's a little curbing, like a little strip, decorative strip here on the. Let me see if I can. Can y'all say anything? Comments will appear here. Let's see if I can see anything now. I kind of swiped over. I'm going back underneath these leaf areas and with this darker color as it's drying. Now I can't see who might be hopping on and watching. So I'm just taking it back and going back over it with a little water on those edges to soften those shadows a little bit. And it won't make much of a difference to you right now as I'm doing it, but later on when everything gets together, you'll start really seeing why that matters. And this is a really good way to straighten up some messy lines. Damp brush here. Okay. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to come back here. This is the color we started with up here on this globe. So you're not going to see much of a difference here. Okay. I kind of like that better. All right, now I'm going to go into my green. Ooh, that's a dark green. And their green was pretty dark. It wasn't this blue though, so I'm going to add just a touch of medium yellow. That looks much better. I'm going to get this off of there. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to let that totally dry. And if I remember correctly, they're gas handles. I got to be able to see them. I'm getting my drawing here. My drawing was very sketchy, and I hope that it will help you, but at the same time, I don't want you to get mixed up with it. Let's see. And I know this is not accurate. I do know that. I won't tell you that I'm trying to go for accuracy here. I'm going to do the best I can. They had so many different types of gas pumps, so many replicas of these gas pumps. It would be impossible for me to get it perfect. But I'm going to let it satisfy me. All right. And I'm just going to take a very, very light gray and do the handle. Okay. there's another tube right here. I think I'm going to add a touch of this purpley color down here because there's got to be some separation of all these grays. Very, very slight difference. Let's see. It kind of comes out of the side, and then it comes up here. And that purple is a nice complement. I mean, this doesn't look purple, it looks gray, but with that purpley gray, it's a pretty nice complement to the green that's there. All right, then I'm going to use the same color to kind of work on our spout here. I'm going to go this way. And then I'm going to go in darker right there. Lots of little nuances, guys. Lots of little nuances with this. And I'm going to get real dark right here. Okay. So lots of differences on this side here. Let's see. I want to say I went actually. So this is just less orange red because we're over on the shadowed side here. It won't have quite as much sunlight hitting the front of it. There's an area right there, and I'm going to go around it just like this. And I really am going to try to keep this fairly loose over here because I want, again, this is an antiqued piece. You want it to look more weathered as it comes down in the back, on the back side of this. I'm using the darker color, the darker red. Doing a little bit of negative painting here. I don't really think I need that, so it's right at the level of that. I'm going to come on down. All right, I'm going to go around with this darker red. Where does that go? I got that one. I got this one. Right here. Sorry, guys, I'm doing a lot of negative painting. It's probably pretty boring for y'all. And you can see me carving out these leaves. I'm trying to leave a little white area here along the edge where it turns. This to me is very relaxing. Let's see if I swipe back. Hey, I can see comments. Hey, Margot. Hey, see, I can see comments. I'm nervous to do this one because working with reds in a capacity like this can be very tricky. It can be really hard to go in and put, especially things that you want to look aged, because reds are so strong. The reds are such a strong color. I'm going to come back and find out the reason why. This comes right through here. All right, so we have a lot of our base down. All right, I'm going to go back over that green because it kind of washed out a little bit. Appreciate y'all bearing with me this morning. I'm actually just going to do this underside here and leave that other part. While it's still damp, I'll tap back into it. I'll leave the top of that lighter. Round that out just a hair. I know it's not going to be perfect. Let's go back in here with our red. Lots of birds singing this morning. Right, we're going to turn it. I've got one eye closed for the whole time, you guys, because I have one eye that I don't see well out of. Don't have the best vision, and the other. If I have both eyes open, I can't focus in on this lettering. Okay. Now the E, the dreaded E. Oh, I didn't need to do the whole thing, just part of it. Let's see if I can move it. I probably can't. So I'll just have to, if something like that happens to you, there's always gouache, so don't be upset over it. I'm trying not to make it any bigger than what it is, that's for sure. All right, let's see. There we go. All right, so I'll try to fix that with gouache later on. That's not bad, not bad, not bad. Okay, let's try our purple again and some of our gray. I'm going to pull this in right here, but I'm not going all the way around. I'm going to leave part of it light because as it goes towards the top or the back or the front or whatever, there should be some, this is metal, right? It's a metal piece. So there should be a highlight there. So that's what we're doing. Put a little shadow area right here. My hose, let me get that cleaned off. It's hard to get that perfect. Okay. Purple. There's an area right here, but it got kind of taken over by the wet wash of paint. So I'm just going to darken it. And we'll leave that red. Maybe we'll try to pull something up in here in a minute. Okay. I'm going to use this purpley gray. Make sure there's plenty of water in it. All right. So under here, I'm going to add some of this to our globe. This is kind of a globe. That lit up. It looks very, very slight right now. I may have to darken it. May as well go ahead because when it dries, it's so watery that when it dries, it's going to lighten anyways. I'm going to get right into my darks. And I'm just going to go ahead and add in and I think there's one up here. Not going to be perfect. I have a darker area here. I didn't mean to get it that big. I really didn't. But I've got shaky hands this morning. Must have had too much caffeine. I'm going to straighten that out. Okay, then I've got two little areas right here. Dampen that. And I'm going to do the kind of a similar thing here. I'm going to just pull down a couple of black lines and pretend like there's numbers here, and then I'm just going to take it and wet it back. And that'll make it look like there's something there. I'll do something like that here too. Okay. What are y'all saying? Oh. That sounds good. Salmon. We had that last week. I'm sorry about the upset this morning, guys. I don't know what in the world was going on. I'm just going to put like some gray here. Make it darker on this side, just because this is our shadow side. And then I'm going to wet my brush and bring that around on this end. I see a spot I forgot to add red to. Need to go back and do that. This got a little bit happy on me over here, so I don't know that I'll be able to lift it, but I can fix it later. All right. Let's check our time, 12:15. I'm just going to turn that corner there a little bit and come down there and drop our shadow. Okay. Let's get some ivy on this booger. Oh, I gotta fix these two things. Okay. Fill that in. Okay, it's actually starting to resemble one. That's cool. I mean, it's very rustic looking, but I could probably, I mean, from a girl's perspective, right? It kind of looks like one. I'm just adding a lot more yellow to my green. I'm gonna start working on some of these vines that are going up around it. To me, vines indicate that it's been sitting there a while, that it kind of tells the story that, hey, this is old, as if the shape and the look of it doesn't say it. I'm not sure I'll do a background on it. If I do, I'll do it later and kind of off on my own. But for the most part, I wanted to get this done today because I want to make prints of it and then probably make cards from the print and send them to my brothers for Father's Day. Texaco memorabilia, Star Enterprise memorabilia, has always been very sought after, and it's always seemed to hold its value. Dad used to keep a lot of it, and he used to get it at reasonable prices. So that my brothers always got pieces for Christmas and stuff like that. And when I got married, the girls even got some for Christmas, and we just saved it, and I still have them, and we'll always keep them. I'll pass them down when it's time for me to pass them down. I'm going to put the vines in a little bit. I'm going to get the leaves in first. We'll do the vines later. Kind of pull them together a little bit. And go ahead and as I put in the vine. Do as I do and not as I say. Isn't that how it goes? And this is helping me because I see that there's red areas that I'm going to have to go under and darken these leaves, and it'll help these leaves to pop off the page here. So I can see where I missed some red areas once I put this down. Of course, this is just a first layer to our leaves, right? Sometimes when you pull your stems out, get real small at your edges with your whatever it is you're putting down there. What projects are y'all working on today? need to get a darker pencil when I draw. We're just filling in our leaves and our ivy, our vines, so on. Hello, Diane. I'm just taking the back of my brush and scoring into those lines to get some veins in our little ivy leaves. Could be morning glory leaves. I don't know. Whatever you want to call them. Okay. I'm not going to do every single one of these. I still have some up here I need to fill in, period. But we're going to wrap this up here shortly. Oops, I really went overboard with the water on that one. Gotta be careful. Put some darker ends on this one. All right, I'm gonna see if I can't add some other shadowing over here on this side. I'll try some of this red and some of this purple, some of this Payne's gray. I was wondering why traffic was slowing down so much outside, but there's a highway patrol and evidently going back and forth. People are trying to be on their best behavior, which is always a good thing. Boy, the traffic's going slow. Something must have happened. Maybe somebody was pulled over up down the road or something. Just adding in some shadows here. Hello, Mary. Did I lose comments again, guys? Or are y'all just quietly watching? I just heard the policeman take off. He's after somebody. He must have been sitting down the road. There's a little stopping point there where they sit sometimes. I'm going to take another bit of that green, that dark green, into my brush and see what happens here if I go around our little logo here. Not perfect. It is definitely not perfect. That was way too wide. All right, y'all kind of get the idea. I'm just going to continue to fill in our ivy leaves and our ivy vines and do a background on this, and it will be done. But there is so much to do today. These little corners that turn to bend down, pardon me. Go ahead and tap them a little bit darker. It'll look better if you do. So I've got all these little leaves all up in here that I still need to work on. I know what I need to do. I need to, so on this, we went on this side and down, but on this side, we need to just touch the inside of that rim a little bit. And then we're going to take and shadow this area up top. And just soften that off. Go right up under there again. Really give that a nice shadow right there. Right here, which is on the inside. It's on the outside of that one, inside of this one. The shadow hits it differently. Okay. That needs to be a little bit darker there. I will slowly take a small detail brush and fill in the letters. Most of the time the letters are white, but I think sometimes they were also black. I need to research that. Is this something y'all feel like y'all want to finish with me, or do you think you have a good understanding where it's going? Put a shadow here, but didn't take it down like that. I can't tell if I have anybody still on with me or not. But I'm going to leave it here for today, and hopefully y'all will give it a try. Tracer's already up inside of the group. It's really not that hard. It's just time consuming. That's all. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoy it and have a great day, and I'll see y'all Thursday. Take care. Love you guys.